Hi and welcome
Hi.
to our 2021 kickoff call. Um, I'm excited to be here with all you governors. It's great to start off the new year meeting you all and having you all in this call to discuss our plan for the next month, the plan for the community-run wallets to become truly community-run and community first. I'll start with wishing you an amazing 2021 because this is the first time we see each other in this year. And with a little housekeeping update, um, for the first part of the meeting, we're going to have an update from Michael and also from other members of the team to present some of the proposals and directions for the next month. And during this part, I want you to mute your microphones just so the recording is nice and that there's no issue with presenting. You are free to ask all the questions as we go. Just put them in the chat. I'll make sure they're read and answered after the at the Q&A part at the end. And also in this Q&A part, you will be invited to ask your questions in person and say things to everyone on the call. Um, that's it for me, really. Let's get into it. And I'm passing the mic to Drew, who is going to kick it off now.
Hey everybody, happy 2021. Hopefully better than last year, we'll see. Yeah, so obviously this is a different format for us, driven by a number of reasons. Oh, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. I needed
Why
to
are
be
you
very
muting me,
radical.
Jacek?
Sorry, sorry. It's equal for all. Start again, please. Sorry.
Where was I? The reasons for the format change, driven by a variety of reasons. I guess, yeah, the main one being this move towards governance and community ownership and participation in kind of the future of Pillar and the direction that we take. Obviously, as well, Corona has taken a toll in terms of our ability as a decentralized and distributed team to be all in one place and do a kind of a presentation. The other aspect of that is the AGM, the format of the AGM thus far has been a lot of us presenting and talking to all of you, to our community, and presenting you with like our thoughts. And the reality is we think that this should be more of a conversation, and we think there's more of an opportunity to involve our token holders, our community, in deciding the path that we take, prioritizing our work on a marketing level, on a development level, on a business level, and empowering them not only with decision making, but obviously with the treasury to actually back up and support those decisions. So this is really our commitment to doing things in a community first fashion. And with that, this is going to be kind of our new format moving forward. The other piece of this is crypto moves at a very fast pace, as most of you are aware. And the idea of being able to try and capture an entire roadmap for the year all at once has proven to be very challenging and lacking in reality in terms of the emerging trends, new technologies that are released, and other things that may shift our priorities or focus as a project. So what we're looking to do is actually have these calls on a rolling basis, likely quarterly. And in between those, have open kind of community calls that allow us to really just kind of get to know each other better, and less formal in the sense of talking about project and whatnot, but actually we do internally as Pillar, quizzes and various things to keep the culture up. And we want to actually wrap the community into that. It could be some poker games. We could do all sorts of different things, but this is an attempt to also build better culture amongst us in our community, and bleed the line between team and community, and as well as kind of make this a concerted effort by kind of all participants. So that's a little bit of just our thought process and thinking as to why we're making this change, and some of what you can expect moving forward this year. But yeah, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michael, who's going to give a quick status update and recap on kind of what we've accomplished in the last year, and a little bit of where we're going. So, Michael.
Thank you, Drew. Hi, everyone, and Happy New Year again. And it has been an unfortunate year for all of us. And I hope we get a better one, maybe somewhere down the line. And those of you affected by the pandemic, my condolences, and the rest of us, I hope you keep safe. And as Drew mentioned, we have changed the format, and I suppose the team said to me, I've been communicating too much, and hence I will be making it brief. And what we have is actually, I have written a status update, a report, which will be released in the governance Discord forum sometime during this discussion. And you guys can read that and ask me questions based on those. Instead of me just talking at you guys, you've got the document which I put in the various sections, the financials, a bit of retrospective of what we did, a section where we talk about the future. And I've dedicated quite a bit of section on that. And hopefully you will be engaged with that, and my availability to you guys and accessibility will increase. And it was a bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke when I said I've been communicating too much. So for some of you have pointed that out. And so what will happen in here is I will just be summarizing what we will be disclosed in the write-up or in my report to you guys. And the year started off, as you guys know, with the pandemic, and the way the crypto market behaved, in that it was highly correlated to the Main Street market, didn't help us at the beginning with when we had to cash out crypto for less amount of money, pretty much. So, however, we were amply rewarded towards the latter half of the year, where bull run has returned. And in the meantime, we have divested one of our investments, and that helped us a great deal in mitigating the initial crunch. And so in the approximation right now, in terms of long-term assets, we do have about $5.6 million. And in terms of short-term assets, we've got around $8.7 million. I think you would get it in my reporting further down. And so how has it been for us? And as Drew touched on as well, planning for the whole year-long campaign, we have found some issues with that in terms of our rollout of some of our features, such as Bitcoin versus WBTC Cafe, where we had to think on our feet and improvise our offering, our engagement with the DAN community, how we went through and processed. And all those led us to two new products, EtherSpot and MemSwap. Again, I'm not going to delve into the details of how those two operate or the rationale for them. I have explained them to a certain degree in my report, but this, especially the EtherSpot, will be a mitigation for us, because there is a a sector-wide challenge in the wallet makers where revenue is hard to come by, as there is always the friction of not being able to charge users at the same time having so much competition in that you have to provide exemplary service. At the same time, this being a highly technical space, you've got such an astronomical overhead. So we are trying to balance those. So again, without going into 1 year roadmap, I will just highlight the things that will be coming at least in the first quarter. Within the first quarter, we will be wrapping up the Ocean Protocol integration with this data token, where you can have access in terms of data and monetizing it. And on top of that, we will be finalizing the mechanism where you can use our wallet, the Pillar wallet, to make governance votes. And that will be finalized in the coming month or so. And Etherspot, which has been audited, the code has been audited by an external party, a well-renowned external party, and this will be released. And based on Etherspot, we also have MemeSwap. MemeSwap is again a product that we've come up with, which would hope to engage the meme community, the Web3 and Web2 communities together. Again, that is something we'll be pushed on for. And the rest of the details will be, again, for you guys to participate in and vote in the governance in the governance channels. And this again will be the way to mitigate the long-term roadmap, which sometimes we have to adapt and change ourselves. So I don't want to take up too much time, but please check governance.pillarproject.io. Oh, no, gov.pillarproject.io. That is where we will, the report will be, and we'll be there for Q&As after that. And so this is a brief one from me, and I'll be going. I'm coming back to Drew for the next section.
Awesome, thanks, Michael. I posted the link that Michael just mentioned in the chat. You can go check that out. There's a lot of action there since probably you saw it last. You'll be able to specifically see Michael's report under the kind of updates. The other piece of this is kind of critical to how we see governance progressing and happening within our ecosystem. So obviously we've made the transition from a community perspective to Discord, which has actually been a trend across the industry that I've recognized. Telegram is still very popular, especially with the current censorship occurring globally. We've seen growth and explosion over there, but Discord is by far a much better place for community management from an organizational standpoint, and being able to thread and keep conversations and topics in kind of, again, in an organized manner. But it's still kind of a chat platform. And as a result of that, it's easy for content to get lost in conversation. It's easy for things to get missed. And what we want to do is essentially kind of have a progression of action and process led by this. So Discord is where all the chatter, all the chat, all the bullshitting happens. And that's where a lot of the good ideas will come from. And then anything that we see or community feels or you are, I guess, motivated by or nudged to elevate or take to the next step, we'd recommend that we're going to recommend that you post that as an idea, or if it's more fleshed out, just straight to proposals in the governance forum. What the governance forum will be good at doing is being able to capture specific conversations and threads and force a little bit more thoughtful, I guess, descriptions and background detail around why or that approach might be relevant or it might be beneficial to us. So we've obviously planted a few ideas in there. There's also a couple proposals. Um, and then any of those proposals that we see there's a lot of attention or traction on, we can even go so far as to do a soft vote there and get sentiment to figure out what the best options are. Say it's deciding how much of our treasury to allocate to a specific partnership or project or investment or whatever it might be. And then once we kind of feel like there's a general agreement amongst the community, we'd move that to snapshot for on-chain voting and actually to solidify the vote, which would, I guess, finalize and cement the decision across the DAO. So it's essentially going to be Discord chat, governance forum, and then snapshot for on-chain voting. So this is how we kind of see the flow working. And if you're confused by that at all, I'm sure people will help kind of walk you through it. But this is how we're thinking of moving this forward. And I guess to get right into that process and discuss a little bit of how we're thinking as a team, plant some seeds and get you guys thinking about some of your own ideas as well as what we're proposing. We're going to actually jump right into a couple of the proposals. The first of which is Alden's open testing program that he's crafted and submitted. So I think, Yasik, you're going to screen share so that we can kind of do a walk along as we go. Or Alden, I don't know, maybe you'll screen share yourself. Okay, Yasik's going to do it. Cool. So I'll pass it over to you, Alden, to share your thoughts and ideas, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, great to have you guys on board here. I'm really excited about the whole governance play. We are probably one of the most decentralized communities out there, and I think it's something that we need to leverage quite heavily. It's good to have you guys on board here. 30 people or something. It's great to have you. So basically, the open beta testing program is something that I've been thinking about for a while, and it comes at a point where we want to leverage as many test cases, edge cases, and devices as we can. This has kind of been inspired by Revolut, who conducted an open beta testing program and allowed people to test their pre-builds before they go into production and capture feedback on like, I think this could be better, I think that could be better. So what I've done here is instead of like making it free, we reward people with pillar tokens based on their feedback. And this could be, you know, an unresponsive action that occurs during testing, or an error message, or the app crashes, etc. This is something that I wanted to crowdsource regarding testing and leverage really the community that we have right now. And also give you the builds where you can have access to the latest features before it hits the public, right? So we can play around with it. We can capture your feedback. If something needs to be fixed before the public reaches it, that's the way we'll go it. And you'll see here, and you'll see it with other proposals as well, there's always a bit of a methodology involved. So the first one is a basic summary, an open beta testing program where testers gain access to pre-production builds. And then we have a bit of an abstract, like if it's a proposal is accepted, we would use an X amount of tokens, and then we go behind the motivation. Why are we doing this? Why are we trying to accomplish this? And then we get into the really specifics. This is what I've done here as a proposal. The idea is for you guys to take a look at this and think, well, you know, maybe we don't want to reward our users this much. You know, maybe we want to tweak this a little bit. So I'm looking kind of a response from you guys and say like, well, this is a good idea, but maybe we need to reduce the amount of pillar tokens that we're going to give out to our token holders from the treasury. Or maybe we need to increase it. Maybe it isn't enough because people are testing in production and the gas fees are quite high. But yeah, in general, open beta testing program, this is how I propose it. There are some other proposals out there that I've thought of previously a while back that we've been discussing internally. And I'm looking forward to see where you guys are guiding us. Like, do you see there's a good way forward? Do you see it's a bad way forward? Maybe we shouldn't do this. I'm quite excited about that. So if you guys have any questions, this is supposed to be a conversation, so just drop it in. I think we have something more, or I'm not sure what the next part is, guys.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go into the other proposal that's currently up, although it's a little light in context or substance. But I One of the ones that I've already put up is actually shifting our liquidity minings program to a new DEX, specifically SushiSwap. So, the liquidity mining program for Uniswap was quite successful. I would say that it's, other than some of these centralized exchanges, which arguably there's wash trading and other things, I would say that Uniswap is probably the primary liquidity pool and place for swaps that is right now. Um, I think that we should look at a number of different and new decentralized liquidity pools, but SushiSwap presents the most natural choice for us because one, it's a fork of Uniswap, so technically we're already familiar and it would be relatively easy to support. And the other is, as a project, they're very community aligned. So from an ethos and a culture standpoint, I actually think that they would also resonate strongly with our positioning and our push to become a community owned and community governed wallet platform. So this would essentially mean shifting all of our liquidity mining rewards over to SushiSwap, and basically allowing for liquidity providers to stake their SushiSwap LP tokens in our Pillar Rewards program dashboard in order to earn. Again, this is the first of, I think, many initiatives that we can continue, but in terms of liquidity with DEXs, but it makes sense to me that would be kind of a good first target. Yeah, so those are two of the proposals. We would need to obviously decide on how many tokens. We obviously know we can use it as a baseline what we're currently supporting, that what the DAO is currently supporting the liquidity mining program on Uniswap for. But it would be great to have people, I'm seeing some comments coming in the chat. It'd be great if you guys can actually go sign up directly in the forum and leave your thoughts there, both something as simple as I agree, I think Sushi is a great synergistic partner, or I disagree, and or if you have thoughts about, yeah, maybe splitting the rewards so we maintain Uniswap or shifting all of them. Again, get involved, because part of this is also, and part of the governance opportunity and how we can make PLR support that is by rewarding those who participate in the community, right? So there's opportunities for us to take advantage of that. Other communities are doing that pretty successfully. I'd like to implement strategies around those users that are most supportive in chat, contributing in forum, et cetera, actually earning for their support in the community. So yeah, now I think we're going to shift over to the ideas section, which is going to be more initial ideas, concepts, things we're playing with or brainstorming, not quite necessarily at the proposal level yet. And this is the place, if you think you have a good idea, but you're not really sure how to make a proposal, you just kind of want to get your thoughts out there, the ideas category is going to be the best place for you to submit those things. Obviously, you can always start in chat too and get a feel for if there's an interest and then take it to that level. But just to give you guys some context around how this is structured and where best to kind of orient or place your thoughts. So yeah, I'll keep going since I submitted a few of the ideas that are up there so far. So how about pillar staking? You want to switch over to? Awesome, thanks, Yasmin. So, and I will actually do the same myself so I can already get into comments. Love it, great. So yeah, pillar staking. Obviously, everyone knows what staking is. Everyone's seen the success of staking in terms of creating demands for tokens, creating incentive alignment. I think that there's definitely an opportunity here. At the most basic level, we can essentially set up a token vesting program where communities lock up tokens for a predetermined amount of time in exchange for specific rewards. The longer, the more rewards. This is pretty simple, doesn't really spin the flywheel too much, but it can help to reduce open market supply, can have a benefit. I think that there's also opportunities in some of these new concepts, one of which was basically pioneered by our partner Meme that we're working on Meme Swap with in NFT farming. this again speaks to some of the cultural side of what being a community owned and operated project really is. And working with artists, creators, supporting them in their exploration of this space of Web3. I think this is going to be a huge aspect and a huge focus from a trend perspective in 2021. And then also, when we introduced Balboa, we talked about basically offering a governance multiplier for those who staked Pillar or Pillar LP tokens, liquidity pool tokens. So I think that that's a great idea. I also, as I touched on before diving in here, I think there's another angle there where we could also reward community members for their participation in governance and being active on forums, being active in chat. There is specifically how we capture and or distribute that value. Source Cred, for those who are interested, is a really interesting project that's being adopted by many, specifically for this type of thing. MakerDAO actually is using this in their own forum. So they actually have an algorithm that's watching and making sure that, or kind of tracking those actions and whatnot. The key is to make sure that those are value added, but they're versus just typing for the sake of typing or contributing for the sake of contributing. But there are things there that I think we can explore, and I'd love to get people's thoughts around that. Yeah, and the idea here is also creating, again, a more rich community experience, a cultural experience, versus just another application, another wallet interface that really just doesn't have that connection that we're trying to build. Going back to ideas, the other one that I put up, which kind of similar vein, a little bit different, is Pillar partner token swaps. So obviously, to kickstart the DAO and to kickstart governance in general, the foundation is seeded up to 100 million Pillar tokens up to at this point as basically treasury under the control of the DAO. So this is great because what governance is only as powerful as the execution, and a lot of times that means financial commitments, whether that mean development resources needed to actually have something done or get that work done, marketing resources in order to pay for listings, pay for ad campaigns, branding campaigns, whatever those might be. The challenge, though, is when we're sitting all in Pillar, anything that we need to convert to fiat to pay people, to ETH to pay people, whatever it might be, unless they're willing to accept our token, is going to add sell pressure, and that'll be directed by the DAO. So I think as a good first step for us is actually looking at and seeing if we can identify key strategic partners where a potential token swap between our two projects makes sense. This creates long-term economic alignment between those two projects. It serves to cross-pollinate communities, which is really exciting because that can lead to discovery of new opportunities in terms of interfaces, protocols, investments, whatever those might be. But yeah, it needs to make sense. EtherSpot provides a really interesting opportunity for this because that SDK opens up and provides for potential partner projects the ability to facilitate easy cross-chain transaction support, robust smart contract management, relayer strategies, all the things that we've already built in and support the Pillar wallet. We can bring that in an easy to use SDK to partners. Another thing that I think an opportunity that I see, again, touched on this a little bit before, is there's a major trend that's emerging, and I think, again, will be a spotlight of 2021, and that is this creator economy. More specifically, the small cap personal community social token space. And a lot of these individuals are creating tokens, recognizing they're a really powerful tool for incentive alignment. But at the same time, they're kind of trying to figure out like how these things work, what does it mean? And a lot of them I think it would be a natural choice for those people to seek out or utilize, work with a community-owned wallet platform, community-governed wallet platform that is basically in line with what they're trying to do in terms of cultivating community and creating a positive sum network effect across multiple projects and communities. So this could be white labeling for these types of projects, if it makes sense. This could be feature and functionality enhancement that allow for greater, more like branded experiences within Pillar Wallet itself. So there's a couple of ideas, but generally speaking, I think that this is, has potential benefits along many lines, including treasury diversification, cross-pollination of communities, and a general ethos alignment in terms of the community aspects. So those are some of my first ideas and some of the first ones I wanted to get off. I'm not done yet. There are many more. But for now, I think I'll pass it back to Alden to discuss some of the address book implementation.
I'll go first. I'll go
You
first.
want to go first, Jacek? All right,
I'll
cool.
go first. Yeah.
All right, Jacek, then to you.
On the back of the token swap idea, because that will kind of come together nicely. So obviously we see this trend exploding of like social tokens and little communities gathering and creating their own little economies. But there are still also communities which don't have a token. And our aim almost since last year or even further or even earlier was to drive the adoption through communities. And last year, we've really seen the potential of both the governance token and the idea of the token that allows for decision making, decentralized decision making in those communities. That really gave another level of depth to their commitment to like equality and decentralization, decentralized character, and also the power of airdrops. In different contexts, retroactive airdrops, other ideas on how to give many people a stake in the platform or in the solution they're using. Pillar is still true to that commitment to like driving the adoption through inviting communities to use it as their go-to wallet. And with the governance token, it presents another opportunity here to speak to those who really can understand the value proposition we have at Pillar. Michael touched upon those challenges that we've identified in the last year, and we've been actually trying to find a way that these challenges can be mitigated or can be actually turned into our asset. And we think that by proposing the only community-run wallet in the space, we can definitely gather some interest, and we can definitely gain some interest from people who are really interested in and committed into using open source and user-owned platforms, because there's no alternative for them in the Ethereum world other than Pillar today. So idea is to start with a little bit of research and networking and connections to identify those groups that are interested in cultivating the open source and user-owned platforms, and speak to them, find the ways that they might be interested in being part of our governance, and go straight into onboarding them onto our forum, onto our voting platforms, give them a way to have a stake in this key piece of their crypto infrastructure. We have identified some of the first candidates, some of the communities we really admire because of their commitment to the DAO, to the decentralization. And we also identify that there is no a go-to wallet in Ethereum, that the Ethereum community that can really play that role of being the truly free and decentralized option for those who really follow that rule. So we're starting with the research. We're reaching out, trying to learn more about who we're catering to, and then through the direct engagement with those community leaders or within the communities themselves, we're looking for a model that will allow these communities to have a stake in our governance. I've listed Metacartel and Raid Guild as potential first candidates and test cases. There are also some other ideas like synthetics ambassadors, like the group within their governance, basically created to be part of other decentralized governances and delegate um, the wide synthetics community vote to these groups so it can be represented in other community-owned projects, in other open source projects, and have a voice in those governances. So this is something that we're definitely going to dig deeper into. You can be part of it by helping us identify those communities, by helping us with connecting to those communities, and then by refining this proposal in a way that we want to find the best ways to onboard those people and to let them be truly part of the decision making within our governance. The idea here is to bring some fresh blood into our community, into our governance, and who's better to be that fresh blood if not people who really understand and commit to these values and also have some experience in being part of the DAO or any other decentralized community like this. So this is my, let's say, more marketing related idea, but everything that we've presented here is really focused on the governance, which is our main differentiator in this space and is really setting us apart from other wallets in the category. This was, let's say, last token related idea or governance related idea. There's one more from Alden, which I would say is more product related. So Alden, over to you.
Actually, let's do the other one. Let's do the subscription one. I'm at the risk of talking to you at you again, guys. I'm just going to give you a quick brief and then maybe we can open up the floor because I think we're falling into the same trap of just talking at you again and we can have a bigger debate about this. But in general, this is just one of the ideas. You might not like it, you might like it. It comes from the fact that I wanted to introduce a concept that will drive demand for the pillar token inside the wallet. And it comes from the fact that there's been a successful amount of apps that have segmented their freemium version of their app with a professional power user version where you pay an X amount of, I don't know, £10 a month or something like that, and then translate it into a demand for pillar tokens. I'm not going to go into the whole thing because it's quite a lot, but the gist of it is it's a proposal to have some sort of utility for the pillar token that will be tailored to the power users, the people that are trading, the people that are constantly watching the price, they want to get engaged on this subject, and leveraging some of the web wallet functionalities that we want to tap into as well, so we can move quick and iterate quickly. So yeah, have a read and comment on it, think about it. There's some pros, there's some cons in it, but everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I'm looking forward to reading from you guys what you guys think as well. So I don't want to get into this too much, but let's maybe open up the floor, Jacek.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Final call to action at the end of this section is that the forum is open for all of you to bring your ideas, to bring your proposals. As Drew said, we're starting with posting ideas, and then together as a collaborative effort, we're doing our best to refine them, to analyze pros and cons, and to make sure that this is money best spent and this is the best interest, it all has the best interest of our community and our token in its core. So that's open for you. That's open for all governors to join, to start engaging over ideas that are there, over ideas that will become proposals, and will basically be something that we all need to decide on. That's it for the talking at you part. Now we're opening the floor to your questions. I know you have many, and we're here to answer most of them or all of them if we can. So whoever feels like taking the mic, please do. And I'll get into the chat because I was sharing my screen, so I didn't read anything yet. Please take the mic.
Hey, I had a kind of like a question concern thing. One of the things that most I think about a lot is the legality and the security aspect. And when I say security, I don't mean like IT security. I mean more of like a security, like a physical security where the government can possibly cause issues with the actual token itself. I know that I don't think the IPO or I whatever it's called, I don't think that was done in the United States, but I know that whenever something's more considered a security, even though it's not in that country, it causes issues with adoption because people don't want the token because it's considered security. They have to go through more hassle. And I know projects like Veritasium in the past, they had a prepay fee with and they're like, oh, we have a prepay fee. The government they can't call us a security, and that's exactly what happened. So one of my concerns is with the pillar token, a lot of like the subscription model, I think it's a great idea. But what could we possibly do to make it more tone vase proof, where you have people that think everything's a scam, and no matter what, they'll think this is a scam, even though it's not. But what can we do to make it more bulletproof, where we don't have to worry about that?
I mean, the short answer to that would be we can't make it bulletproof in that if the SEC decide to go after a company based on the ICO issuance, etc., we can't make it bulletproof. What we can do is we can try and protect ourselves in terms of past behaviors that they've done. Just for instance, look at the case against Ripple. What sort of things can we do not say in public? Do we talk about price appreciation, etc.? Guarding ourselves against those would help mitigate us from being persecuted. At the same time, then if you look at from the UK stance, you would have financial promotions talking about price, etc. So just being careful in how we communicate things and how we promote and not promote things in a certain way. And what we are trying to do is increasing the governance, increasing the utility of the tokens through the governance. So basically that's what we're targeting, and actually making it a truly community-based wallet. A truly community-based wallet with participation like this growing bigger. And if we do swap tokens with other projects, those projects being in the governance channel, in the governance room, making decisions on the direction of the project. By doing those sort of participatory, almost a token-led project, we will try and mitigate it. But in terms of making it foolproof, we can't.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think there's power in this governance because from a liability standpoint, the more we give control to our token holders, the better it is in overall for the project. This is one of the reasons that we're doing it, right? So if you take examples in the past of what has been done with project, there's only a select few, and they are making some decisions, and then they're being accused of you're promoting it as a security, you are promoting it this way. So there is some leeway here. There's some power here with when we give control back to our community completely, as much as we can at least, without getting into trouble with any of those regulatory instances.
Thanks, guys. That was a great question, and I hope it was a great answer. It was definitely for me. Who wants to take the mic next?
Mom, you posed a good question in the chat, and I know both Vitor and Dimantis weighed in, and might be others that kind of have that same question. And it's definitely a good one in terms of there's an interesting phenomenon, and there's a lot going on in terms of these communities that are popping up out of nowhere, creating a token. It's very, as you discovered recently through Roll, it's very easy to do so, and exciting, the potential in terms of a new tool. And a lot of them, they have no real, in the traditional sense, in the sense that we've kind of defined internally as a community, utility. It's meant to represent ownership and participation in the community. And the biggest driver being governance. And governance is a very like encompassing term. So, deciding on what happens in the community, where things go next, rewarding those to participate. I think we're still trying to kind of exactly figure out, and I think every community will be different in terms of like the form that takes. But yeah, I think there is something there that we're conceptually and culturally just starting to like scratch the surface on and recognize. It's these ideas too of, you earn Tesla stock for buying a Tesla. You earn Netflix stock for watching Netflix, or Amazon stock for buying on Amazon. Yeah, sure, it's essentially a reward that's given back to you, for participating in their ecosystem. Sure, you could go sell that and take the gains and run, but if you see yourself being a continued member and contributor to that community, it's likely something you're going to want to hold on to. You're actually probably going to want to take that and reinvest it so that you can help govern that future and decide how we can create more value out of the equity, the token, the ownership that you've earned and you're continuing to earn. So there's definitely, I think the governance side actually has a lot more power than people give it credit for. The ability to participate, to drive, to decide the future of, the ability for us to extend that further as new opportunities present themselves. And I think a lot of that stuff will emerge more, but yeah. I'll stop talking. I just wanted to touch on that because I think it's a very relevant topic. I think it's something that's on a lot of people's minds. We don't want to create sell pressure for the sake of it. So yeah.
I love that you guys came to this meeting with this governance forum already set up. I think it's terrific. I love that the ideas are already in there so we can start thinking about them, and that the framework is already here. I've been really concerned with how we were going to start the DAO with a structure, and so I love that this is here. My biggest concern moving forward going into this is how many people does it take to operate the DAO successfully? How many community members do we need actively participating, not just voting, because people can pop in and vote whenever they want, but to actively make it effective and useful and successful? How many people do we need?
When you say participating, what do you specifically mean? Can you provide an example?
Well, say somebody poses an idea and we vote on it and it goes through. Who's going to do the work? How many is that put on the community to do the work? Is it put on the team? Are we hiring a new full-time person to organize and keep the DAO clean and moving forward? That's my question. Who does the work when we have these ideas get voted on and pushed through?
I think it depends on the proposal. So yeah, obviously anything that's related to product enhancements and features and functionality, it's likely going to land on the product team. At the same time, if we have community members that themselves, either maybe the person who put up the proposal or someone else in the community that had, maybe it's Solidity, maybe it's front end work, whatever it is, like we're very open to the possibility of the community getting actually involved in functionally working on the project as well. If it's marketing or something similar, likely it's going to be a question of budget, right? So where's that budget come from? Are we selling pillar tokens in order to do so? How many are we comfortable? Because that's going to create sell pressure. There's no single answer, I guess. To your first question of like, how many does it take? The more, the better. And that's, it can be, I mean, look at this call. We have how many people on here right now? Maybe 50?
39, but
39? Okay. I need to get better at my jelly bean estimation game tactics. Yeah, I mean, 39, 50 people can be enough to move the needle. It's enough to make this feel like it's not a team of 10 or the 5 of us that you're most familiar, 6 of us you're most familiar with to drive this thing. And also, we're very close to and have context about things that you guys don't. And we need fresh opinions. We need fresh eyes. We need ideas coming from outside of to help motivate and move, right? So, you know, and we need to create incentive alignment or incentive, I should say, for others to get involved, right? So it's both a matter of why should I get involved? What do I get out of it? And then realizing the more I get involved and the more I put in, the more value I can create for for Pillar as a project and for my ownership in it. You know, the tokens that I have. So yeah, there's no easy answer, but it's an ongoing process, and I think we're exploring how to create those threads and those connections and incentivize the action.
Do you know any? Sorry.
Oh, go for it, Michael.
Do you know any crypto company just in general with like I don't know, like a DAO, but one that's just popping into my mind is kind of Dash, where they had some voting rights and whatever. It wasn't based off the token, but there was some features in it. Do you know any company that was successful in this that you're modeling this DAO after in general?
Yeah, many. Vitor, do you want to take that one? I saw you shaking your head.
No, yeah, just the more like well-known ones, Aave, Synthetics, Balancer, Maker. Most of the big names in the Ethereum space operate in that way right now.
A lot of the DeFi protocols are moving this way too. I think a lot of that is driven by regulatory concern, to your earlier point. But they also, I think we're all recognizing as a community, and more specifically, the tooling is maturing to a point where effective decentralized governance is actually possible and can create feedback loops and that are beneficial to like token and network growth. So. Jay, are you raising your hand or are you just like high-fiving? You want to, I can pass the mic to you.
Jay actually posted questions. He says his mic doesn't work.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So the question is, I guess people want a big exchange token burn of 20-30 tokens. What would you guys see as a process for that happening? I mean, the short answer is it should become a proposal and should become an idea on our forum. And this is where we should be discussing all of these potential directions. I see Vitor want to take the mic.
Yeah, just to give some, you know, a lot of stuff has been worries on regulatory constraints, especially putting the foundation in a position where the foundations go after an exchange, and we don't want that. There are members of the foundation that are personally liable, you know, legally liable if they undertake certain actions. One model, for example, that Maker did, Maker has dissolved the Maker Foundation. Now it only exists essentially as the DAO. This provides this takes certain amount, and not totally up, because it's impossible to be bulletproof, as Michael has said, but give some leeway. And it means not the foundations taking this action, but the DAOs taking this action. And the decision making is no longer in the control of few parties. So this having the DAO undertake this kind of decisions like listings is good for us.
I shared an article in the chat too by Placeholder VC, big player in space, VC at least. And they had a great post that is something that I've seen a lot of communities start to adopt, ones that I'm participating in that I think is very relevant and effective in terms of instead of burning tokens, buying back and burning, actually doing, providing liquidity and market making with those buybacks instead. So I would rather, and in addition to that, I would rather find ways to incentivize action to further decentralize ownership of the token, to get new community members involved and opportunities for them to get involved, than to just straight up burn in order to reduce supply. I'd rather create positive benefit and kind of reward for and growth in our community, and we can do that if we're smart about it. So that's my personal opinion on some of the burning potential. That said, we did decide to burn a fair amount, and I think it is a valuable tool, but I think to some extent putting those to work in terms of growing our community can be really powerful.
Yeah, just and we did have an agreement, I think, on the 10-year lockup tokens to be burned. The one reason that they haven't been burned yet is because they're locked for 10 years. I'm planning to do some magic, and that's a good magic, to make sure the only thing that they can be done with these tokens is that they are burned. The only action that can be taken in 10 years is burning them, which is going to be an effective proof of burn that can be done right now. But I'm cooking up my magic before, so and this takes time to make sure that something that actually works, 7 years from now.
You go 6.5 years, Vito. Get on with it, please.
No, yeah, just give me a couple more. Yeah, get it done soon.
That has the benefit too of burning a future release, so that we can coordinate as a project without worrying about an infusion of supply in 6.5 years that may impact what we're doing. We basically have the full token supply in control of the community, of the DAO, of the foundation, of the members. And so we can act more and coordinate more effectively without having to worry about that future release potential. So
I just want to say one thing, because I know Jay's goal and a lot of community members are going to bring it up, the listings and stuff like that. From my conversations that I've had, it's always about demand about from the community for it. So when you talk about like what kind of criteria do you guys use for listing, like I'm not talking about paying and stuff like that. It's always, is there a demand from the community? And there's different ways that we can go about it. So like Binance, for example, they have this community vote thing, right? So projects get voted in, they get listed on Binance, etc. This kind of demand, that's what we need to drive to get there. But we are restricted, as Vito said, regarding the regulatory landscape and like promoting this kind of thing. And the quicker that we can move to full governance of DAO, the better it is for all of us, and then we can make that decision and go forward together.
And the more happens actually in the governance, there might be more demand from people who want to be part of such body and want to really make decisions regarding their wallets and the platform they use or they're built on. So this is all coming together like around the token, and it really shows that this is something we need to focus our efforts on, and the governance aspect of it provides a great framework to kind of put all these things together around one very clear and narrowed goal. One more question that was coming from Jay, the marketing related one. Where are we with the marketing agency? That's that's the final stage. I want to give a shout out to Eggman here, who helped me over the weekend, sharing some of his magic when it comes to assessing projects and contractors. That was really helpful. Thank you, man. And this is something that we've been working for a few months already. We have three shortlisted. We're kind of happy to go with any of them, but we gave them a way to present their specific proposal for the different projects from others, and kind of let them really show that they understand this value proposal of community run wallets. Um, we have the time in the sense that all the major push will start once we really have the governance up and running. So once we are able to migrate to EtherSpot, and once we can really get going with the governance tools, like a voting tool and stuff, this is where we will be able to prove our community run character and our USP, the differentiation from other wallets. So even if we're to sign the deal within a week or two, which I think is likely, we will be using that first few weeks to get all these things in place, just so for the release, we're sure that people who are interested in that kind of value proposition are in line and are aware of us bringing this to the market. Um, so that's kind of my response to Jay's question. And one more question I see from Bit Curious Mom: is there a chance for us to meet in person later this summer? Rent an outdoor venue. I would love that.
For there must be a lot to travel first.
Fingers
Very
crossed.
optimistic.
VR sounds like the most likely at this point.
In fact, that should actually be one of our community events. Is I'd love to, and I think I may have mentioned this before, is set up and take people possibly on a tour of the metaverse. There's a number of emerging virtual worlds based on blockchain, crypto voxels, Decentraland. So we can kind of tour around those and get an idea of what's happening in those spaces. Those are actually serving to act as amazing hubs for community coordination as well and activity. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that stuff, that's one that I'll actually put on the roadmap in terms of a possible event, or something that we can all do together and check out what's going on in the space too, right? Because like part of this is we can also serve to be a gateway for people who it's very hard to keep up with the news and what's happening and the trends in the space. And so we can help to distill, suggest, and show those opportunities and the potential. DeFi is one niche of a very large and growing Web3 landscape. So would love to bring some of the other conversation into the narrative. So.
I actually have a question for the marketing. I know we're still in the process of determining which team we're going to be utilizing. But there's so many different services within the wallet now. We have, DAO being, approaching. We have staking. We have, just coin swaps in general. So, do we have a specific strategy that we're going to utilize to target our specific markets? Because, some individuals want to just utilize the wallet just for storing. Others want to, move forward with the staking. Some want to utilize it for the DAO. So, are we going to have a specific strategy? And how do we really verify that the marketing team that we do utilize, they do have that target market, or access to that specific target market?
Yeah, this is kind of something that we really wanted to be clear on getting into this new year, because with all the different products and initiatives that we're running within Pillar, we have quite a variety of metrics that we can optimize for. And for some time, like in the past, like recently, we've been mostly optimizing or trying to optimize for the wallet metrics. So the product metrics, like getting new users, getting more usage within the app, and kind of looking there to make the project sustainable drive the adoption and to drive the awareness around the app that we've built. And the more we're getting into that, and especially around the governance model, and looking at the challenges that we have as a smart contract-based wallet, with how expensive it is today to get a new user or to ask this user to pay for their deployment of the smart contract-based wallet. We're just thinking that, moving that one metric that matters into the token area and finding their alignment between the governance initiatives and product being like a showcase of what our tech can do, especially equipped now with EtherSpot and playing that role of making Ethereum more accessible and making those fees a little bit lower. This is where we're going to focus our efforts, because we also think that this is what community really expects from us, to drive the demand all around the token. And if we're successful with that, there will be first much more awareness. As an effect, there will be also much more adoption, and I think there will be way easier way to answer why people would be part of that governance. Because if it's a platform and a technology that the space is using, and this is what EtherSpot is designed for, to really serve that need of providing user-friendly experience for dApp builders and side chains and EVM compatible chains, we can get people to start building on this platform. If they build on this platform, they also have an interest in knowing where this platform goes next. So moving that a little bit, the emphasis from the app to the whole, let's say, family of products that are governed by the token and by the governance that we just kicked off, is my first response. Second response, it's true that we've been kind of, going light on the marketing. Michael highlighted some of the, issues or focuses that we had in the last year. I think that we're now in the point where we understand really how do we stand out in this market, and understand what kind of product we have in our hands as well. And that will allow us, connected with the bull run that we're experiencing right now, to be more open in using specialists to help us in all kinds of marketing activities, being social media agencies, being advertising agencies, maybe PR agencies. This is stuff that we definitely want to be more open and onboarding into our activities and using going forward. And as soon as we have this governance up and running, this is something that we will be shilling as we can, and using the best people for the job to help us in that, just so we kind of provide the strategy and the flavor of it, and then we get the support from people who are working as teams and are working as over some very successful projects in the space to help us spread the word around all this stuff.
Well, I mean, I would definitely say measuring success, will be adoption, in this space and the utilization of. So with that being said, these three firms that we've kind of narrowed down, do they have a track record of of marketing previous tokens, and which ones are they?
One was responsible for most of the Bancor beginning. Actually, they started with Bancor, and they are their agency since then. Another one was serving, from what I remember, companies like eToro and some other bigger, maybe more fintechy, but also some major crypto players. And the third one on the list, when you remember, Ocean Protocol, Acropolis. We've been reaching out to those people that are listed as their clients. We were checking their references. We had around 6, 8 agencies that we started with. From those, we found that some of them are not really like loved by their previous clients. These three came very much recommended, and they were able to prove their work. Now we're kind of letting them create something special for us and really let them understand that, let them show us that they understand the unique selling point that Pillar has in the form of decentralized governance.
So is that kind of like our baseline for criteria on which organization we select, or what would be the baseline criteria?
Well, the baseline criteria will be how much the baseline criteria was definitely references. The baseline criteria was the understanding of the crypto space. Through the conversation with these marketing agencies, I found out that they're usually like trying to, convince you that this thing that is their specialty is actually the most important for you. So some of them were more like PR focused, and I spent a half an hour discussing with them how PR is key to everything. And some of them are really more, getting into that, trying to understand who is in our community today and who we want to be in our community tomorrow. So I kind of guided that through these, judge them based on these feelings and data they provided about their previous campaigns and achievements. And now it's like up to them to propose and show how they understand the community run aspect of ours and how they are able to use that as our asset in gaining some market interest.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jack.
Always.
Yeah, I think you've got a few more relevant questions on the marketing. You look at the chat, so can you please address them?
I see. Wow, there's a long list. Okay. While I'm reading, I will read another question. What are the layer 2 options with the wallet? Who's gonna take that?
That's probably a Vito question.
Oh, we have around layer 2 state channel solution, which is being addressed with EtherSpot. I don't know, man. That's it.
Michael, you're muted. I see you want to add something.
There is another one from Preston that says, can you give me a hypothetical example of project onboarding EtherSpot and how it will benefit the Pillar wallet users, i.e. cheaper transaction when transferring with this project? But maybe Alden, you've been practicing dealing with EtherSpot with other organizations, so maybe you should take this one.
I mean, so EtherSpot is when a project onboards EtherSpot, they get all the benefits from the SDK. But this question is specific on like how does it benefit the Pillar wallet users? And correct me if I'm wrong here, Drew and Vitor. But my perspective is if a project onboards EtherSpot, there is a potential for state channels to be opened between the Pillar wallet user and the dApp itself, meaning that there's very little transaction fees involved when you interact with that dApp in particular.
Just yeah, not only that. One keep in mind there's like what for every Lero smart contract wallet is part of this Pillar family, right? They can connect to all Pillar apps or all EtherSpot apps. So every time any app using the EtherSpot SDK acquires a user, they're essentially bringing a new user into the whole of the platform. So this kind of diversifies. And now that we have that user already has a Pillar wallet, it's been deployed because he's using that project. Now we just need like the marketing funnel to bring this user into the app itself or into the other apps of the ecosystem. So it has a virtual cycle of bringing these users in. This is the first point, which is the acquisition point. And the second is the fee capture point. We don't have the fee model fully hashed out yet, but our idea is that the fees collected by the platform go back to Pillar. So they they essentially help us finance Pillar Wallet. That's all I had.
So Jacek, you can address the questions that you had.
Yep. So the first question I had is when the marketing teams present their presentations, can we run it by the governor's house? Michael, I would be very open to that. I would love some additional feedback. We'll probably need to find the best way um, to make this decision then. But I would love to for this to kind of be something that we all stand behind, and the point where governors are on the same page when it comes to this can really help us, or this really fills the gap that we see today in the marketing. So I actually, I'm happy to, if there is no objection from them, if there is an objection, this might be a disqualifying factor for them. But I would bring this to them to kind of open it up. And thanks for this proposal because it's great. And another question from Jen, what responsibilities will marketing agency have? I'm concerned about the frequency of the output. Um, so let's say the goal for this is to first and foremost help us with the awareness. But as you said, like we definitely have more to communicate. We can communicate better in many cases. With the governance start, we hopefully will have quite a lot to report and build the excitement around. And I feel like this awareness and finding the first of all, like agreeing on the map of topics that are really true to like our values and to our brand and the things that we want to build our position around is like the start. And then going from there, we really want to see more mentions of pillar, more tags, kind of working really on making ourselves more recognizable and being part of the conversation, being it around decentralized governance, be it around L2 solutions, be it around user-owned and open source platforms. These are all like big topics that we can definitely, increase our outreach around, and we believe that this is something that we want to focus on. So I mean, this will be part of the proposal, and this will be something that I will be very like I'll be pushing them to really clarify what are their KPIs, what are they planning to ship, and having those three different offers, I'm sure that we will decide for the one that will kind of find the best middle point between the quantity and the quality. Obviously, quality is always like the biggest goal, but we also want to be more frequent in our communication. And I'm quite sure we have much more topics that we can be engaged around, just not enough manpower at this very moment. So that's something that we're yet to specify, but if we're to make this process more open and give you guys a way to have an input over that, which I think is very natural, and marketing is probably the easiest department of pillar that can be decentralized. That will be something that I think will be part of the community consensus. The next question in the question is, does governance have the power to request the hire of someone in-house to put up daily content across several free social media platforms? I believe so. I think that it can be even someone from the community proposing themselves and setting some rates. And this is yet to be like taken from idea to proposal and voting on. So in the process, we will refine, we will find those criteria, we will make sure that this is a fair price, and be it even if it's not someone from the community, but someone recommended an agency, whatnot. This can be either an effort that is done by the team or in the team, or it can be a DAO initiative. The way the forum is designed today, all these proposals, be it coming from the team or coming from the community, they are equal. We don't really want to, you know, separate one from another, because we believe that this happens at the last point where we really refine these proposals and make sure that, you know, the either DAO or foundation is acting on them and then implementing. And the last thing, like the participating in other communities, especially those that have features in the app. I think that you know, decentralized governance provide a fantastic framework for this. This is where our potential next governors, future governors, are hanging out. And if we create this map of topics, and if we really look at it, this converge into around these projects that you've listed, and these are already communities um, who understand this like commitment to the DAO and to the decentralization. And I'm sure that more can be done, be it by our community, which will be more incentivized to do so, or be it by, you know, some external agency that will be basically tasked to do so and paid from our budget. Is that a good answer for your question, Mom? Cool.
That's a great answer, Jack. I guess what I want to know as soon as possible from the marketing agency is what they're covering. So what you're talking about sounds like um, focusing more on building awareness in traditional media, and I just want to know where their responsibilities lie. Like, are they writing blog articles, or is that in-house freelancer? I just kind of want to know who's doing what, so that if we want to put up an idea in the governance forum, I want to know, okay, I don't want to suggest something if it's already being covered by somebody. So hopefully when the marketing agency, when the three people pitch, and maybe governors get a chance to view them, we'll know a little bit more about what area they're actually talking about. Because it sounds like a couple agencies, or an agency and a higher, it sounds like several different areas. And so I just want to know what they're doing.
True. Yeah, totally. I would say, like, my first instinct says that we need to really up our game in social media, and this is where I see most of the crypto space engaging and discovering new projects and new uh, ideas. So that will be probably the first area of like the immediate support that we'll get from the marketing agency. But if they will need to create some more content, being on our blog, or maybe governance proposals that then they will be using to you know, present us to people that don't know us yet, I'll kind of want to leave it to them and see how much they understand our positioning and this new vision that we have.
I think that's an important part of like redefining what we are as a project and as a brand too, like that narrative, to give them some fodder to work with to help strengthen the marketing approach. Because wallets are boring. They're not sexy. They're not a DeFi protocol. They don't have, you know, they're a means to an end in a lot of ways. There's many different options, but a community that you can participate in with people that you like, that you're excited to be working with, that you can be rewarded for that participation. It's more experiential. There's something worth talking about there. There's also like a resonance and like something more, speaks deeper to the Web3 cultural and decentralization and sovereignty aspects of what we're trying to build versus an application interface, right? So I think that part of this is of what we're doing is also helping to create that story and explain that we're more than just another wallet, right? This has been a constant challenge for us. And yeah, like, I think that not only can we do that through the community governance side, but we're also looking to approach this from the technology side in terms of taking what we've built and the foundations that the Pillar wallet runs on in EtherSpot, and bring this to others and create, again, cross community and cross project collaborations. So.
Thanks for that addition. I feel like answering some more questions, so sorry guys if you feel like we're going for too long, but we'll stay for a moment more. Very interesting question from Nikhil. Can we have social recovery wallets for corporate treasuries who want to expose 5% of treasury dollars to digital assets? Any pillar use cases you can think of for corporate treasuries?
This is the kind of stuff that's actually quite like building a wallet. Social recovery is actually trivial using the EtherSpot SDK. My question comes, and then this not really technical. It would be actually quite simple, but it comes like, do you know the market? Do you have some ideas on how to put this to execution? And if you do, just actually write a proposal, and this is something that we can make it work.
I would say from a business standpoint, from what I heard in industry, is that corporates don't really like to touch non-custodial items. They like to have a custodial taking care of their digital assets, having insurance on top of it. I personally don't see the market fit, but maybe there's something there for mid-size companies that want to have a less expensive exposure, shall we say.
Short answer to that is we need more data, and there is no better way to get more data than through this proposal idea to proposal process, where we kind of analyze all the possibilities and pros and cons. Another one from BitCurious Mum: where do we stand with web wallets?
So we postponed it until the EtherSpot wallet release. We do have a guy working on it, but doesn't make sense until actually release a mobile EtherSpot wallet. It's our plan. Also, the guys are working now. This actually goes into Jay's question. He asked about release dates. So we actually, for developers, EtherSpot is out. You can go to github.com/EtherSpot, and everything the developer needs, or EtherSpot or .NET or something like that for the landing page. And it's actually out. Developers can already use it, and they're marketing. We don't have, in the next Jan, early Feb, we're looking to release the wallets into EtherSpot, the mobile wallet. I don't have a final date yet. I'll let you guys know as soon as I have it. And the web wallet should come through, mostly to the web recovery wallet. Should go around the same time, more or less.
While we're
Yeah.
at it, go on.
No, I just wanted to add to that regarding EtherSpot. I'm hoping there's going to be a POC from a project that we onboarded through some efforts that we have been going on, that would hopefully, showcase the power of EtherSpot for you guys with a real life project, and not just something that we've developed internally, and really show the power of EtherSpot and where we're taking it. But I won't tell you too much right now until the deal is sealed. So.
Good.
At the moment, EtherSpot will be utilized through MemSwap as well. MemSwap leverages the functionality of EtherSpot. In fact, we've used MemSwap as a product on its own and as a reference implementation of EtherSpot, so it's got a dual purpose for us.
Yeah. Alden, if you have a link somewhere handy, you might drop it in the chat with like MemSwap demo for those who missed it in the governor's house.
I mean, regarding MemSwap, I think it's going to be implemented and deployed this week somewhere, and people can actually go and start using it. I'm not sure, Vitor, is it?
It's this week. I'm not sure if it's been done or not, but I'll check with the guys. I'll check my linear my test tracking for this week, and as soon as it's available, I'll post on Governor's House as well, so you guys can play around.
Yeah, and maybe we can showcase to you guys like what's the whole use case, and you guys can actually play with it and upload some memes on XDAI and trade it with each other and just have some fun.
And appreciate the seamless usefulness of EtherSpot in the background.
Yeah, the beautiful thing of using MemSwap is that you can use like any layer 1 wallet and to kickstart a contract wallet in the background. So essentially, you're a MetaMask user, you can instantly become a Pillar user without being like explicit or sending anything. And from there, you can use a layer 2 solution like a side chain, and you don't really need to know that anything has happened, just magic happens. And just the way it should be, to be honest. And yeah.
When Vito says the magic happens, think of the faff around one has to do. If you use MetaMask, I have to change the network to be X style, whichever one. I have to know this, I have to know that. That is what we're trying to cut out.
Just click and things work. Hey Jay, go ahead, man.
Your audio's not working, Jay. It's a shame. I'm used to 3 questions per day by Jay, so I need to have some more.
The minimum is
Hello?
Yeah,
Hey,
Jay.
Pillar Soldier in the
Yes,
house.
it works.
Salut, Jay.
Yeah. You know, guys, how I like this project. I am very enthusiastic, but I feel a little pain with all the projects, but it's okay. I have a question about the layer 2 solution when Etherspot is be out. For example, if we see Uniswap going on XDAI to reduce the fees, that we are going to have easily the possibility to support XDAI and our fees on Uniswap. I want to know if it's the same for all the wallets, because if it means that many centralized exchange start to use layer 2 solution with Matic, whatever, if I understand correctly, it has support all the layer 2 solutions.
There's like one qualifier. There is something that's called EVM compatible solution. EVM is the Ethereum virtual machine. So XDAI, for example, is EVM compatible. Optimism that's used by Synthetics is EVM compatible. All the major layer 2 solutions tend to be. So as long as a layer 2 solution is EVM compatible, Etherspot can play with this. How MemSwap works, we took Uniswap, we made a version that can play like pieces of an NFT, so you can sell like half of an NFT. We're running it on XDAI, and you start the mainnet wallet. You actually never have to know that's on XDAI. You just click and trading happens on XDAI automatically, and Etherspots take care of all the bureaucratic work of moving things around for you. And very nice, neat, and quite efficient. So yeah, XDAI is one of the targets. Binance Smart Chain, Optimism. Yep.
This has significant benefit to Meme too, because one, gas fees are crazy and it's really painful. So when you're talking about buying fractional shards of an NFT, maybe $10 a pop or whatnot, you don't want to spend $10 on gas to do that. That's one aspect. The other is for those of you who are in the meme community or have been paying attention, it's kind of become a whales game. And so the whales are able to stake meme, get pineapples first, get first access to exclusive drops and whatnot. But it creates a whole nother secondary market opportunity for those individuals to then shard existing or popular scarce meme NFTs and let other community members participate and get involved in participating in like the growth in value of those assets. I want to touch on this real quick too, slight tangent, but related. Obviously, we talked a lot about dank memes and the opportunity with them in last year and the opportunity there. We still see that as a huge opportunity. They have a huge community, Web2, mainly Facebook community based. And the idea was, how can we onboard this huge group of Web2 users and bring them into the crypto space? And this is a lot of the thinking, at least historically for many projects, is how do we onboard mainstream? How do we bring everybody into the space? In fact, Pillar ourselves, we were very focused initially on grandma wallet, right? And how can we offer a wallet experience that's easy for everybody? I think this is important, but I actually believe too much emphasis has been placed on getting people to try and cross the chasm. And I feel like it's a huge product challenge to be able to find product market fit while also getting people to cross the chasm into a completely new technology, a completely new concept, whatnot. And more so, and my own personal opinion on this has shifted substantially to actually doubling down on crypto natives, actually building things for people in crypto. Various people are going to have their aha moment in different ways. And I would rather, not to mention that being your own bank, being an owner of your own assets comes with a huge amount of understanding, education, responsibility that those people need to be comfortable with and confident in interacting in order to even like get them to start participating. So the shift in emphasis and the reason we've dug into Meme is for that exact reason. Meme is an existing community, obviously focused on memes and the cultural significance and resonance of meme culture. And that is exactly what Dank Memes is as well in a Web 2 format. So by catering actually to an existing community of meme lords, meme enthusiasts through the meme token in their community, we're able to basically create that opportunity, but also use and piggyback on their community to say, hey, Dank Memes people, like, look at this project, look at this community, look at this opportunity. It's exactly kind of what you're doing with the twist, the tokenization, the NFTs. Their community can help to onboard and to support people discovering what it means, while Pillar exists both at EtherSpot, at MemeSwap, and possibly at the Pillar wallet level, whether that be mobile or web wallet, as the kind of first interface that they're exposed to for managing their assets and getting exposure to additional services in the Web3 space. So I think there's something to be said too for this as like a strategic approach. And one of the reasons why we made that decision was based on kind of some like the reasoning that I just shared. So wanted to touch on that. I know we've brought that up before, but some people here might not have been familiar with why that decision was made or the reasoning behind it. So.
And I've also alluded to that in my report to you in the governance channel.
Now, Drew, the NFT market is kind of really, really blowing it out of the sky at the moment. Can you kind of differentiate the difference between the NFT and the meme swaps?
It's essentially the same thing. So meme's whole token mechanism, I guess, they're what they've created is essentially called NFT farming. So what you do is you stake meme tokens, you earn pineapples, which is like a secondary token. And then you can use those pineapples to purchase and participate in NFT auctions that they create with and collaborate on with outside creators and artists. So what MemeSwap does is provides kind of a additional avenue for those assets to create value and open up greater participation. So what I was just mentioning was the actual primary market sales is really kind of being relegated to the whales, and a lot of the new members, the smaller members, are being priced out. Meme recognizes this as a challenge and a problem. And what MemeSwap does is it gives those individuals the opportunity to then take the NFT they've purchased, shard it into 10, 20, 100 pieces, and then create a marketplace for individuals, other meme community members to purchase up those shards. And what we've seen is you actually create greater liquidity and increased valuation for the asset. So that's essentially what we're building for them. And the idea was to focus on meme again as a community, as a use case, but technically in terms of NFT sharding and marketplace, like we could support, this could live beyond meme too. But conceptually, that's what we've done and what we're trying to, the value we're trying to bring to meme, powered by what we've built with EtherSpot.
Gotcha. So if I'm understanding this correctly, So currently, I'm watching a lot of these, NFT, NFTs online, and users that are creating them and buying them and selling them. I think one of them recently sold for $100,000. I couldn't remember which one it was. So essentially, we can create memes, load it into, I guess, our online dashboard, and then we can go ahead and shard those, or kind of create like an online store to sell those, or
what yes, generally speaking, the way we see this for meme swap is meme swap will actually be like owned and operated by the meme community, the meme team.
Okay.
It will be initially designed to support their existing NFTs. Now they may decide to then create an immediately shard, and the primary market sale might be a sharded or a fractionalized NFT. So it opens up new opportunities for them as well. But the initial concept is for them to take an NFT that's farmed through the like pineapples that may have sold for the equivalent of $20,000, $50,000, and actually be able to then shard that, and so that other individuals can buy a piece, be an owner, and participate in the value growth of that asset.
I mean, do you see any kind of potential copyright issues moving forward with this? So for example, somebody creates a meme, let's say Michael Jordan, shards it, sells it for $100,000, and then all of a sudden the Michael Jordan's, legal team is now tackling the meme community over. So how will we kind of overcome that?
Yeah, so it's not going to be user uploaded. It's not going to be a free for all of anybody can upload a meme and sell it and shard it. We're basically, meme is responsible for basically curating, and likely they'll, what I'm recommending and what we're suggesting is gate it to meme approved NFTs or meme community created NFTs. And they've already done the legwork in terms of they've signed the agreement, they've entered into partnership with those creators that built, that made those NFTs. So the permissions and the rights to then shard it are all good. But yes, I see what the concern would be if it was kind of an open free for all. We initially were thinking that kind of as well. And obviously the other piece of that is 6 people upload the same meme. Who owns it? Which one's the real one? So there's a lot of trickiness with that. And so actually working with a community that has an ongoing inventory, an existing inventory of NFTs that are kind of coveted and have value around them makes sense as a starting place. And then maybe it becomes a more of a curation situation where we approve artists and only those artists are able to then upload directly. And so that could be how it grows beyond just meme as a curator or as the owner of that platform.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, good. I go to the website, the demo of Aldin, and I see that it's possible to connect with social media. Is it a final version, or how the people that are from Web 2.0 are going to create automatically the wallet and use the
I think I understand what you're asking. I'll go from my.
It's about the website of demo on YouTube.
Yeah, this is Jack posted the old link where we had the social logins, login with Facebook, login with Google.
Right.
Yeah, this is a neat trick we're playing around at time to try to bring Web 1.0 or 2.0 users to Etherspot. The idea they start with a social media login, we create a wallet for them, it's tied to their social media login, and they can eventually take their wallets on their own and start managing it like a real wallet. This is not what we're doing anymore for meme. Meme users are expected to actually have a wallet. But this is one of the possibilities that Etherspot gives to us.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. I see your. I don't think I deserve to be memed or NFTs, but Diamantis, one of our engineers and team members, he has a great idea, and I think we might already have like our first candidate for NFT farming with Pillar. on the back of the kind of metaverse, virtual worlds aspect, wearables have become a really big thing. And so we're thinking we'll put together a pillar t-shirt that individuals can essentially farm through staking. Again, this is one way we can create interaction, community collaboration, and value in kind of working together. So the only way to earn this pillar NFT and show your pillar loyalty and support would be, again, by staking pillar for a certain amount of time in order to basically be granted that reward or access to that reward. So one of many potential ideas. So yeah, again, if we have artists amongst us, we can do more of that. Again, it's a fun thing that also, again, it builds the cultural and the experiential side of what we're doing and what we're building beyond just another wallet interface, right? So yeah, there we go. So we're gonna need to work on this. So we have I know a voxel designer that will be able to turn this into a functional t-shirt, but Dimentis has taken a first step at crafting a potential design here. I love it. It's if you haven't had a chance, I really recommend exploring this space specifically. But yeah,
we're going deep into the rabbit hole at the end of this call. But I love it.
There's the DeFi niche, there's the DAO niche, there's the NFT niche, and like again, being able to use a wallet to build the bridges across these things in a way that raises the community and helps to both educate, explore, expose all these opportunities is really where I think we prefer to go versus, yes, you can do the same transactions. Yes, you can interface with the same platforms. That stuff is key and it's foundational, but what more can we do, right? So.
I would say it's time for the last question, probably. It's lovely to hang out with you guys. And by the way, having 35 of you here and having 100 YouTube viewers can't be compared. So I'm very happy we did this way this year. And it's something to keep and do on a more regular basis, just to go deeper into the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole. There is a question about any possibility to use our wallet for login like DigiID, also put in place an automated KYC process that can be used by other projects. What about being able to focus on NFTs, connecting with the real world assets through like in the centrifuge.io project? Anyone here familiar with something like that? I know we've been talking a little bit about DigiID. In some contexts, it's been requested by some of our users. Who want to say a word about that?
The main challenge here, and Vitor, you can chime in if you want, but it's a technical one. Supporting DigiID or any other chain that essentially isn't EVM compatible adds significant complexity to our product. And from a maintenance and a resourcing standpoint, also puts a lot of resourcing and constraint and on us and challenge on us. So this is why we've really decided to focus only on EVM compatible chains at this point. But beyond that, I also have personal opinions on the value of that versus supporting or digging in and supporting single chains for whatever reason. But yeah, I don't know, Vitor, if you have additional opinions.
To be honest, we used to have a login with Pillar. I think it was for maybe one of the iterations of the forum. Just actually implementing a login solution is not that hard. The question is, between all the efforts we're doing, do we want to put the effort to create one and market it and go after users? And we have a lot of challenges and we have to pick our battles. I don't think it's a battle that brings a lot of value to us right now.
If we could identify, if like for instance, if Digibyte was excited about seeing us support that, and we could actually work with them and borrow some of their resources in order to facilitate that, that would make that a much more likely reality. But for us to kind of take it on ourselves it's a very large challenge. So
This is the kind of stuff that is going to be determined through the governance process. And as we're kind of asking those, difficult questions, trying to really understand if that's the best, use of our resources, if that's the best opportunity for us to focus on, maybe we'll find out that the Digibyte team just want to build that. And through this process, we identify some groups or some developers that just want to bang it out. So that's 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 an opportunity to also bring this into other communities and tell them like, come and let's make the case for it.
yeah, if you are familiar with DigiID, you can kind of present the use case, explain how, share in our forum some of those ideas. We can cross seed that, share it in the Digibyte community chats and whatnot, and say, hey, Pillar's exploring this. Would you guys be able to directly support? Again, this is how the community builds the offering and the ecosystem, right? So, yeah, to Jack's point, this is the critical path for us moving forward.
Very last one, because it's for Pillar Soldier. Can MemeSwap be a competitor to OpenSea?
Oof. So fractional NFT sales is definitely different, a different use case and potentiality than general, like a primary NFT marketplace. I'm not sure anyone's gonna really compete or push OpenSea out of the position they're in. They've actually just rolled out some really exciting and powerful new tools with their lazy minting. If you're familiar with that or not, definitely recommend looking into it. But I do believe a lot of people are still trying to wrap their head around NFTs and why NFTs and the value of NFTs. And the reality is the collectibles market, just generally baseball cards, sneakers, whatever you want to think about it, it's essentially a 370 some billion dollar market. What NFTs do is they bring liquidity to a rather otherwise illiquid market. And so what fractionalizing or sharding an NFT that now is also basically is outpriced for many, is it provides additional liquidity. It basically continues to fuel the liquidity and the potential of that asset. So we're essentially creating an extension. We're extending NFT liquidity by allowing for sharding of those assets and greater participation in ownership and value growth. So
no direct competition. We're competing in the same area but different places.
We would be a value add essentially, yeah, or MemeSwap, I should say.
Guys, it was a great hour and 45 minutes that we spent together. We've told you where to go next with all the ideas that I'm sure are brewing in your heads, in our heads as well. I've already seen some great ideas and proposals being posted in the chat. Let's bring them to the forum. And as I want to say thank you, I also want to say happy birthday to our man behind the camera there, who is celebrating today. So happy birthday, Pablo.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Pablo.
And,
Pablo.
and also
Thank you so much, guys.
Show how you party.
Pablo's newlywed as well, so
Oh yeah, that's true. Congratulations, Pablo.
Double congratulations for Pablo.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
He took care of recording this call, so we'll share it with those who couldn't join us today. And for some reason, he doesn't want to show up, but let's not investigate that.
He's a
It's his
newlywed.
birthday. It's his birthday. Come on, this can be. Guys, thank you so much for the meeting. as Drew said at the beginning, we don't want to make this a 2 points in the calendar year. Out of these, we want to make it more of an ongoing conversation. We won't be waiting for 6 months to have another governance call. We won't be waiting another 6 months to have any call with you, as we want, introduce some more fun stuff that, needs to happen in this community as well, for us to just, get to work with each other on all these efforts that we proposed today, on all the stuff that you will propose in upcoming weeks. So be ready for that. Be ready for discussions at the forum. Yeah, and let's keep on rocking in 2021, because that's what we're all here for. And I'm seeing that in a very much bright colors after these 2 hours with you today.
And we will soon have a poker game that involves pillar employees and governance community members. So keep a lookout. So we will arrange it at an appropriate time. And Olden is the point person on that, but we will get in touch.
I think we should maybe put some pillar on the plate from like a reward standpoint for some of these quizzes too, right? Winner takes. We'll have to figure out a way to track that, because right now it's been a little bit manual. But yeah, any ideas that you have in terms of social coordination or cultural things that we can introduce? Like, yeah, please share. This is not the end. Can take the conversation async into the governor's forum, into the chat, onto the forums. If you have ideas, we definitely want to keep things going. This should be seen as a start, not an end or a finite, contained conversation. So
I'm definitely looking forward to having some sort of happy hour / poker night / getting to know you guys a bit better, and not just talk business all the time, and just like sharing our ideas with each other, news updates on the crypto industry. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a continuous conversation instead of just talking at you.
Thank you, guys. It was lovely to see you. If you showed yourself on the camera, it was lovely to hear and read from you. Let's keep on going. See you in the forums, in the Discord, and in the call soon.
And thanks for all your continued support.
Yeah, thanks for that.
You know it. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See ya.